Hey, what's up everybody? It's Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very, very interesting episode for you guys that you definitely want to stick around for, so make sure you go and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, one of the biggest stories in sports media last year, in the sports world last year, was the fallout between Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. It was one of those things I think most people were not expecting to happen. But before Max Kellerman got removed from ESPN First Take, I had talked about it on many different occasions on this channel. I had said that all too often, Stephen A. Smith found himself being way too disrespectful to Max Kellerman on air. I said that he created an environment where the Kendrick Perkins of the world felt so comfortable that they can come on there and be screaming on Max Kellerman. And I used to watch it a lot of the time, that I'm like, wait a minute, how is this even who do you know that talks to their co-hosts in that type of way? I said at the time that it was totally uncalled for. And after the news broke that Max Kellerman was being removed from ESPN First Take, everyone and their grandmother wanted to know, what role did Stephen A. Smith play in the network's decision to remove Max Kellerman from ESPN First Take? We ultimately found out that Stephen A. Smith pushed for it, and when he pushed for Max Kellerman to be removed from the show, and when he came out, he publicly admitted to that. He was like, "That's exactly what I wanted," and he showed no remorse whatsoever for it. So during the taping of the I Am Athlete podcast, which is a great show, he was asked about it. You know, they asked him like, hey, you know, they asked him about Skip Bayless, and then they asked him a follow-up question about Max Kellerman. And when they asked him about it, you will not believe what he said. But before we get into his comments, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is play what Stephen A. Smith had to say, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to that here.
So if you're talking about when you guys left out, I started to like you and Max Kellerman a little bit. Yeah. And I seen that you guys split up. You had so many different rumors. So what happened with that?
We all know what I said. I felt I felt we weren't the right pair for each other. Okay. I think that Max is a real good guy, man. He's smart as hell, knows his boxing, knows various other sports. But when you have a debate show, it's about a chemistry with each other, the vibe off of one another, the yin to the yang, opposites attract, and all of that other stuff. And I didn't feel that that was what was going on, and I felt that the show was getting a bit stale. And so for me, I just said, I know the brother is great at what he does. I got a lot of respect for him. I like him a lot because he's a really, really good guy. But as it pertained to us working together, I didn't feel that we were the right pair.
And you made that call. I'm like,
I made it very, very clear to them. That's how I felt. It's their call, but I said, this is how I feel.
Did you let Max know you was having that conversation?
I didn't let him know about the conversation, but he knew on many occasions that's exactly how the hell I felt. I made sure of that.
Like
it wasn't no surprise.
Right. Hey, you see how they be grilling us and asking those questions?
No.
Yeah, it's getting trouble. You want to sit down with Stephen? Yeah, now you're in the hot seat.
Come out.
Did you call Steph Curry? Fire him up.
First of all, I came to be in the hot seat,
show.
And I ain't running.
What did you say to the people that came on the show? If you on my show, I talk first.
That's right.
Did you call him? Right. Did you call him? Steph, you blame KD didn't call Steph Curry left. Right. Did you call my man?
No, I did not.
They gonna get you a quiz.
Oh my God.
They gonna say, damn.
No,
that's funny though.
I did it because I had about 30 conversations prior to that.
Right.
He knew exactly where I stood.
Now, here's what I want you guys to take notice of quickly. If you listen very carefully to that soundbite, you will hear the guy say this. Because they were laughing, but they said, but weren't you the same guy that got on KD for not having the face-to-face conversation with Russell Westbrook before he decided to leave OKC? If y'all pay close attention, that's actually what those guys were laughing about. That's what they were laughing about. Now, if y'all remember, Stephen A. Smith got on KD heavily when he decided that he no longer wanted to play in Oklahoma with Russell Westbrook, and instead he wanted to join the Golden State Warriors. He was the person that called that move the single weakest move by any NBA superstar in NBA history. It was him. But he also got on Kevin Durant because KD, I believe all he did was send Russell Westbrook a text message that he was gone, if I'm not mistaken, but they didn't have a face-to-face conversation, and they had been teammates for years. Well, in that soundbite, you heard them basically call him out for his hypocrisy, because they're like, well, wait a minute. You got on KD so hard for not having the courage or the decency to tell Russell Westbrook to his face that he was leaving, but here you are on a show with the guy for, I believe, 4 or 5 years. You want the guy fired. You want him fired. And then you say you never had a conversation with him to basically say, hey, listen, I no longer want you on the show. All you said was he knew that he knew exactly how I felt about it, which goes back to the original point that I was making over a year ago. I told y'all that the way he was acting towards him was totally wrong, and he was doing it on purpose. He just admitted to it, that he was publicly embarrassing Max Kellerman. I'm telling you, Max Kellerman is a bigger guy than most. Because if it was some guys, they'd have been like, okay, after the taping of the show, he would have pulled him over to the side like, hey, listen, I understand that you're the big wig on this show, but there's a certain way you're going to talk to me and there's a certain way you're not going to talk to me. I'm a family man, I have a wife and I have kids, and they watch this show. There's no way in hell you're going to be sitting up here talking to me like this and I have my kids watching this show. It just ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. We can disagree. You can be strong about your statement, but you're not going to be up here insulting me and treating me like I'm some kid. It's just not going to happen. Whether you like working with me or not. For as long as we're going to be partners, you're going to respect me. You're going to treat me with some level of respect. While we're on TV, I don't care how you feel about us being a parent, but you're not going to disrespect me. So that's that. I mean, some people would have definitely, done that. Here's the fundamental difference between what Kevin Durant did and what Stephen A. Smith did. When KD left OKC, Russell Westbrook still kept his job. It wasn't like as if he lost his job. But when Stephen A. Smith decided that he no longer wanted Max Kellerman on ESPN first, he got the boot. He got the boot. Stephen A. Smith still kept his job on ESPN first take. His role got even bigger, as a matter of fact. And Max Kellerman, they sent him to the morning show with Keyshawn Johnson and Jay Williams to do some morning show, and then he has his own show. This just in, I think, is an afternoon show. Max Kellerman got the boot. Now, here's the irony in all of this. When he was talking in that soundbite, he showed absolutely zero remorse. He showed no remorse whatsoever. Now, in some circles, this type of behavior is applauded. Some will say he is doing everything that he needs to do to climb that ladder, to climb the corporate ladder. And it's, it's either me or you, that type of mentality. And to that I say, everything ain't about some damn ladder or some type of corporate positioning. Everything ain't about that. Morals and integrity matter. The thing that's more the thing that is more important than the amount of money you make is how you make the money. And don't ever in your life think that every dollar is created equally. It is not. It is not. There's some things that your reputation is just not worth. And I don't care how much, if I'm making money and I can't sleep at night, I'm gonna be bought. Now, some people, they have no problem. They can make, hey man, I'm gonna sleep just like to use Stephen A. Smith's term, just like a pig in mud. But to me, I totally disagree with that. Some will agree with me, some will disagree. But I just thought it was hilarious and ironic that those guys called him and they were basically laughing at him like, wait a minute, this is a joke. You were calling out KD for not having the courage to, the decency to step up to Russell Westbrook's face and tell him to his face, listen, I'm leaving. But then you turned around and did the exact same thing and didn't even bat an eye. So to me, I thought that was a real slime ball move. But hey, that's just me. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.